The matter is going to start in 5 seconds. Start. Mr. Vice Chairman, I rise to support the bill to amend the Indian Trade Unions Act of 1926. The Act of 1926 was an enabling act which only provided for the registration of trade unions and for their immunity from civil liability. It is well known that before that act came into being, trade unions were held liable for the losses suffered by industry during a strike. We in this country have not forgotten the famous case which preceded the 1926 Act. Since then, the Indian Trade Unions Act is one of the least amended acts. All that it provided was that you collect a small fee from 7 workers, fill in some forms, and get unions registered. The result has been that during the last few years, there has been tremendous growth in the number of trade unions in UP. For example, today there are more than 1100 trade unions registered under the Indian Trade Unions Act. That figure exceeds by 300 the number of trade unions registered in the whole of the United Kingdom, which, as we all know, is a highly industrialized country. Sir, it is time that we took certain steps to strengthen trade unions, to see that we have industrial unions representing the entire force of workers employed in particular industries, rather than have mushroom growth of unions which get registered this year and disappear next year. I therefore welcome this bill, which lays down that every trade union will provide that the subscription by members of the union shall not be less than 5 rupees per month per member. This, as has been said, is a part of the code of conduct agreed to by all the trade unions. We have during the last few months heard a great deal of argument about the implementation of the tripartite agreement in respect of minimum wages. This provision of rupees 5 per month per member to be collected as membership subscription is also one of the conditions of the tripartite agreement, and I am happy that the Honorable Minister has brought this bill to honor the tripartite agreement. Trade unions are supposed to provide certain services to their member. Trade unions are independent only when they do not depend on outside help. It is therefore absolutely necessary that trade unions should charge from members a minimum of rupees 50 per year as membership subscription. Unless that is done, trade unions cannot have resources to enable them to provide the minimum services to their members. We have seen that the infiltration of trade unions by political parties, infiltration of whole timers of political parties, into trade unions does not help them. Trade unions, to be healthy, should have their own whole-time functionaries. How can a trade union which does not charge from its members even a minimum of rupees 50 per year ever hope to provide an office, some staff, and some whole-time functionaries to lead the union? Therefore, it is absolutely necessary that such a provision should be made. It was about 2 years ago that a code of conduct was agreed upon. Some enlightened trade unions, particularly the unions which owed allegiance to the INTUC, have changed their constitution and have a minimum subscription of rupees 50 per year. But we find that certain other unions, for reasons best known to them, have not yet honored the undertaking which they gave. It is therefore absolutely necessary that the law should make it compulsory for a registered trade union to have that minimum subscription. The provision giving certain powers to additional and deputy registrars is also very necessary. The Act as it is provides for the appointment of only one registrar of trade unions in each state. In big states like UP, people have to travel 500 kilometers in order to meet the registrar or to approach his office. In UP, all the functions of the Labor Department have been decentralized. There is a decentralized conciliation machinery. There is decentralized machinery for the enforcement of the Minimum Wages Act, Factories Act, and other labor legislations. But because of the fact that only one registrar is provided by law, this function has not been decentralized. The growth of healthy trade unions is necessary and the law should give it every facility. It is therefore necessary that additional and deputy registrars should be given some power under the law so that the function of registration of trade unions can also be centralized wherever it is necessary. My honorable friend from Andhra has said a great deal about the registrar's power of inspection, and he seems to object to the provision relating to the inspection of records of trade unions by the registrar of trade unions. I am unable to understand his objection. Trade unions are open organizations whose membership is open to all who work in the industry. Full stop.